This video is brought to you by Nvidia. Welcome back everybody, I'm Nick930, and today I wanted to share with you my thoughts on the massively popular free-to-play Battle Royale experience, Call of Duty Warzone. More specifically, the newest incarnation of the mode featured alongside the release of this year's Modern Warfare 3. Now, in case you somehow haven't had a chance to try this out for yourself yet, Warzone is a large-scale, first-person shooter experience that pits small groups of players against one another in a bid to be the last team standing. Like most other Battle Royale games, the match starts with players all bailing out of a plane and parachuting down onto a large map as they search for loot and attempt to stay within a constantly shrinking play space. However, what sets this particular mode apart from those that came before it is the addition of player loadouts that can be acquired in various ways and used to gain a massive upper hand over players stuck using the default weapons. They are a major part of the Warzone experience, as players are constantly searching for the best build configurations to stay competitive, impacting not only Warzone, but other modes like the base 6v6 multiplayer experience as well. As with any Battle Royale, it's an exhilarating experience, with moments of heightened tension around every corner. And while my wins in the mode were few and far between, the time I've had with this latest version of Warzone has been a major improvement over the version of the mode on offer last year. That being said, there are still some glaring concerns that I'd like to talk about today, that I feel keep this latest version of the mode from reaching the same heights of its original incarnation in 2020. But before we get to all that, I want to first thank Nvidia for sponsoring this video. To capture all this footage today, I made extensive use of Nvidia's powerful Nvidia RTX 4090 graphics card, and was able to achieve buttery smooth gameplay performance even in the most graphically intense circumstances. Warzone is extremely competitive, so you're going to need every frame you can get. If you're fortunate enough to get your hands on a 40 series card this holiday season, be sure to access the game's graphics settings and turn on DLSS 3, or Deep Learning Super Sampling, to improve your base performance. If the image isn't as sharp as you'd like, you can adjust the slider in the menu and even tweak the level of super sampling to suit your needs. For users still running a 20 or 30 series Nvidia GPU, you can still make use of Nvidia DLSS 2.0 for a solid boost to performance as well. Users may also opt to use Nvidia DLAA, or Deep Learning Anti-Aliasing, an AI-based anti-aliasing solution that uses a native resolution image to boost the image quality, giving you the best possible presentation. Users with 40 series cards can go even further and enable frame generation for a huge boost to the average frame rate, which, as the name would suggest, creates new frames between the actual rendered frames to achieve FPS numbers not otherwise possible. Coupling frame generation with Nvidia Reflex Low Latency technology ensures that your actual gameplay experience will remain as competitive as possible, which in the Warzone is a must. So, first things first, let's talk about Warzone's biggest new addition, the brand new map Urzikstan. Urzikstan at first glance may look a lot like Warzone's original fan-favorite map, Verdansk, with a similar color palette, core layout, and environmental features. Though it's a lot more chaotic than anything I've seen from this mode in the past, as a majority of the map is centered around tense, door-to-door urban combat. The entire south side of the map is built around an area called Zarawan City, with lots of towering skyscrapers, storefronts, and apartment complexes. North of the main river, the map offers a bit more of an industrial combat zone, including a large seaport, a power plant, a cargo storage facility, and a large resort under heavy construction. These areas offer a lot of variable cover for players to weave in and out of, making it ideal for close quarters combat. Towards the center of the map, there's one of my favorite locations, the Old Town area, complete with a castle fortification at the edge of the river, with lots of secret passages in and around it. And finally, on the far east side of the map, players can enjoy some more traditional Verdansk-esque combat locations like the North Military Base, the farms, and a massive manor estate in the southeast. Hidden among all these areas are a number of direct references to classic Call of Duty multiplayer maps, including Countdown from Call of Duty 4, Seatown from Modern Warfare 3, Subbase and Favela, and even Harbor from 2019's Modern Warfare. Altogether, Urzikstan offers an impossibly dense arena for combat, giving a huge advantage to players on the run and looking for a place to hide. Combat is fast and relentless, and often favors the team at the higher vantage point. Though there's almost always multiple ways around campers watching ladders thanks to redeployment ziplines and the like. Personally, I think the map may offer itself to too chaotic an experience, and with all the kill streaks, meta weapons, and bizarre new gadgets flying back and forth, newcomers will no doubt feel overwhelmed immediately upon dropping in the first few times. Which brings us to our next topic, the core gameplay changes. This latest version of Warzone basically combines the favorite additions of both the original Warzone and last year's Warzone 2.0. Features like slide canceling, for example, have made a return, giving players more agency over their movement in tight combat scenarios. One-shot snipers also return, mainly the Cat AMR, meaning players can down a player instantly if they land a headshot. Though there's so much cover around the map that I personally found this tactic to not be nearly as effective as it was in the past, and I often ran with just a full auto AR or LMG instead. Other features like swimming underwater and the redeploy drones all return too, and are crucial tools in getting the jump on players. To add to this year's version of Warzone also sees things like horizontal ziplines added throughout the map, which can be used to quickly cross between vertical vantage points without having to use a parachute. The Gulag has also been reimagined, this time reverting back to a standard 1v1 scenario, and introducing a new zipline escape option in the center, rather than the old capture the flag objective used before. But easily the biggest change made to this version of Warzone is the massively reduced match timer. Raven has considerably reduced the downtime in this mode, ensuring moment-to-moment combat really wears you down. The map itself is significantly smaller than last year's Al Mazrah, and for the reasons mentioned before, this can lead to frequent firefights with enemies, whether you're ready for it or not. Adding to this is the reduced timing on the gas circle, that keeps players from lingering in the military base or farms for very long, and almost always centers itself in the dense urban areas in the middle and south side of the map. To account for all this chaos, the new Warzone also gives players a lot more opportunities to return to the action, with jailbreak events being commonplace, and new features like Gulag redeploy kits and redeployment flares keeping any down and out player from taking a break during a match. But even with these considerations, trying to go in guns blazing is usually a recipe for disaster in this mode, unless you're ready to fight the entirety of the match. To put it simply, this Warzone isn't sweaty because players in it are trying hard, it's sweaty because players aren't given any chance not to.
What? Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
The pacing is simply out of control, and even with the absolute meta weapon configuration in your hands, getting in the top 10 can be considerably difficult, or plain dumb luck sometimes.
No, ese no lo vi, cabrón.
That's not to say there aren't good strategies to adhere to though. For one, there's a lot of useful early looting areas that can ensure you get your loadout quickly, often in out-of-the-way areas that don't see too much traffic. If players are feeling bold, they can even dive down to the train and take control of it, which can be used as a portable buy station as you pump the brakes, grab money, and hop back on board to get in zone. This version of Warzone also sees with it a big overhaul to the perk system. Several previous must-have perks have now been folded in as a default for each player, including tac pads, commando gloves, and most importantly, overkill, meaning all of your loadouts can now be equipped with 2 primary weapons without any penalty to you, saving you a trip to a loadout drop. This means precise loadout configurations featuring a balance of 2 primaries are key and should be set up ahead of dropping into the Warzone. This also means that grinding for those quote meta weapons has also returned, with players currently sticking with recommended firearms like the Polmia LMG, the BAS-B battle rifle, and the WSP SMG. Weapon balancing could certainly use some work, as there's an insane number of firearms to choose between in the game, but only a small handful that are actually worth using. But the design of Modern Warfare 3's multiplayer unlock system at least makes this process more manageable, thanks to the ability to tag specific weapon attachments for unlock just by completing daily challenges. There's still limits to weapon attachment slots early on, but otherwise, you can queue up all the attachments you need and unlock them all with only a few well-played multiplayer matches. I also greatly appreciate the timeliness of Raven's response to issues within Warzone that the fanbase considers problematic. This is a good sign moving forward for fans of Warzone, as the developers plan to support the mode throughout the course of the next year. What's more, players who have been playing since last year will be happy to hear that all their weapon unlocks and purchased cosmetic items are carried over with this latest entry, even if most of those old weapons aren't necessarily competitive with the newer weapons. Overall, Call of Duty Warzone continues to be a juggernaut in the Battle Royale space, thanks to a very well-refined series of gameplay systems and great ongoing support. The reintroduction of features like slide canceling, one-shot snipers, and new abilities like horizontal ziplines or being able to control the train do a great job of adding to the action without being overbearing. I do feel the smaller, more dense design to the Urzikstan map makes for an impossibly chaotic experience, one that I personally can't say I prefer over the classic 6v6 multiplayer setup. But it is at least a major improvement over last year's Al-Mazrah, and the various seasons that accompanied it. It has at least caught my attention once more, and it will be interesting to see how it evolves further going into 2024. But what do you guys think? Have you been dropping into the latest Warzone? Let me know in the comment section. Also, I'd like to once again thank Nvidia for sponsoring this video. If you're looking to get that extra competitive edge and are ready to blame your video card for your KD, look into securing yourself a brand new 40 series GPU this holiday season to take advantage of massively improved frame rates and improved image quality using DLSS 3, DLAA, frame generation, and Nvidia Reflex Low Latency. Check the link in the description for more information. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more content posted every week.